All right, yes, we are online. And just give me a moment. Let me adjust my video. All right, yes, we are online. And just give me. Okay. All right, so welcome everyone. My name is Bhavuk Pujara, and I'm gonna take a session today on some quick discussion around GD and basic tips and techniques on how to crack this GD, some do's and don'ts in the group discussion round. We know that CAT is done with, and other exams are also done with. Now we are preparing for the next rounds. We have got calls, and these rounds are personal interview, group discussion, and written ability tests. So in a sequence of say 6 sessions from today through 31st of this month, we're going to have 6 such small discussions where we're going to discuss how to improve your GD skills, your PI skills, and your WAT skills. To start with GD skills, we're going to discuss some basic tips that work for me and work for a lot of people. So basic tip number one: have basic discussion etiquette. How you behave in the GD will tell the panel how you will behave in college and at workplace later. So they are trying to understand what kind of a person you are. Can you interact with other people? Can you work in a group, right? Can you have group discussions when they're talking about some serious stuff? So in a span of 15 minutes, what kind of discussions you have, what kind of points you put, do you add any value to the discussion, and things like that. So have these basic discussion etiquette. Do not get into an argument with people, right? There's a clear line between having a group discussion and having an argument and having a quarrel. People move to from discussion to argument to quarrel, and it adds negative points to them. Basic tip number two: respect others' opinions. Right? You may be right, but you think that you're right, or you may be actually right. Right? But the thing is that you have to respect others' opinions as well. It's your job to convince them, right? So you might have a certain thought process. Someone else in the group would have some other thought process, right? They would have some other perception about things. They perceive things differently in life, right? So they would have different opinions. So respect their opinions and take their opinions, listen to them, and provide your opinions. Do not say that you are wrong or hey, you shut up and things like that. We should not say anything like that. Basic tip number three: be a good listener. It's equally important. So in a communication, it's a two-way communication always. You're transmitting and you're receiving, right? You're always transmitting is not a good thing. You're always receiving is also not a good thing. But you have to be a patient and a good listener to others' opinions and others' point of views. Speak sensical. Quality of your points is the key, not number. So what people think is that in the span of 15 minutes, they should be the one dominating the discussion. I would say that is not the key to cracking this round. The key to cracking this round is that you speak sense. And the quality of your points, whenever you pitch in 15 minutes, pitching in for like 2.5, 3 minutes tops is a great value, right? You would have made a great impression in first 30 seconds or 45 seconds already. Now you're just adding on to your impression, right? But speaking for more than 3 minutes means that you're encroaching someone else's time, right? They have given 15 minutes for everyone to speak, so that everyone gets a chance to speak and put forward their point. But if you keep on speaking something that doesn't make sense just in the name of have to speak and be in the limelight or be in the view, in the eyes of these panelists, I would say that is not going to add any value. Quality of your points is the key, not the number. Tip number 5: you show you're confident about the topic. Start the discussion if you can. Starting a discussion always helps because that shows that you take charge, you take lead of things, right? And you're capable of giving direction to a group discussion. And what you speak in the start also matters, right? So if you think that this is a topic of your interest, this is a topic of your there's a strength that you have this topic, I would say go ahead and start the discussion if you can. But it's not a very hard thing to do because out of 10 people in the GD, only one can start the discussion. So if you're not one of them, don't worry about it. It's not a make or break kind of a thing. Basic tip number 6, discussion, if you feel is moving away from main topic, take initiative, take charge, take lead to steer it back to the right direction. Sometimes people, in the name of speaking a lot, talking a lot, and wanting to be in the eyes of the panelist, would want to speak, and sometimes they run out of topic. Most of the times they run out of discussion points, so they start, falling off from the track. So what you can do is take initiative, stand up, tell everyone to, just listen to what you have to say, and say that, I think that this discussion is going off track, so why not discuss about the main agenda of the discussion, which is whatever the topic is, topic X, right? So take lead, understand that the panelist is also realizing that you're moving off topic, off track. Take initiative to steer it back to the right direction, because panelists, they usually cannot speak in the GD, right? They let it to you to speak. So if taking that initiative, you're talking what they have in the mind, it's going to really add some great value to your profiling there. Basic tip number 7, try to conclude the discussion, right? People in 15 minutes are going to talk a lot of things, right? Sometimes desperately, sometimes deliberately, sometimes they would actually speak sensical things, sometimes nonsensical things. But whatever happens, in the end, when there's 1 minute or 30 seconds left, tell everyone that we're done with the discussion. Let's try to conclude, and I'll take the initiative to conclude the discussion. This is what I have to say. This is what we discussed. The MOM kind of a thing is what you're making point-wise, 5-6 points that we discussed, and this is what we have concluded. And seek everyone's approval there. What are you guys saying? This is the conclusion. Everyone is going to say yes to it, because it's just last 30 seconds that is left, and no one is going to stand up and say, no, this is not what we discussed. If someone is doing that, that is going to get negative on their profiling. Basic tip number 8, pitch into the discussion 3-5 times in 15 minutes. Understand and respect the fact that 15 minutes is for everyone, right? There are 10 people in the GD, and they all are given 15 minutes in total. Wouldn't everyone want to conclude? Absolutely, Moin. Sometimes they would, most of the times they won't, because conclusion is very critical. If you miss out on any points, panelists would know that you missed out on a point, and most of the times what they do is the panelists ask everyone, do you think he has covered all the topics, all the discussion points? You say yes. Basic tip number 8, pitch into the discussion 3-5 times in 15 minutes. As I was telling, that respect the fact that these 15 minutes have to be distributed for everyone, to everyone, right? 7 to 8 or 10 people that are going to be in the GD, there are always going to be 2 people who are going to be laid back in the discussion, 2 to 3 people. 20-30% of the people, they are laid back, right? Because they think that they cannot deal with the kind of discussion they're having, or the topic is not of their interest or strength. You have to compete with the other 6 or 7 people that you're left with, right? Now, distribute the time equally. If you are given 15 minutes and there are 10 people, understand that you cannot come for more than 3 to 5 times. And every time you come, speak sense, right? And give yourself, say, 2.5 minutes in the total of 15 minutes that is allotted to you. Do not take much time, because you're encroaching on others' time that they deserve to speak in. So come for 3-5 times, every time, I would say for around 30 seconds, 25-30 seconds, and speak, and just stay back. Then someone is going to counter you, and do not counter immediately, right? That is very rude. Don't say that, this is not what I said, this is not what I said, and things like that. Just let him speak. It's his time now. It's his or her time now for next 30 seconds. Now, if you have something to say, if no one else is speaking, pitch in again. If you think that there's absolutely something that you have to pitch in for, a volunteer, or you have to be a little louder so that people find you assertive and someone who's wanting to take charge and take lead, so they will respect that, and they'll have to sometimes give space to you and for you to speak. Okay, these were some basic discussion points, basic GD tips. Let's discuss some advanced level tips. Tip number 1. Any questions so far? First of all, let's ask the audience. Moin Khan asked a question. If there's anyone else who has a question. Before we continue, start discussing the advanced level topics. All right, no questions. So advanced level tip number one, sound politically and morally correct. You have to understand that having an opinion is really good, right? But you have to sound politically and morally correct. You cannot say abuse any political party, right? You cannot say that they are exploiting this country, use such extreme usage of such extreme words. You might think that it's absolutely fine, it's actually happening, but you just cannot be very loose with such words. You cannot hurt anyone's sentiments. For example, if you are pro left or pro right in terms of political views, I would say try to be central left and central right, center left and center right. Do not be much into extreme left and extreme right. More another question: can we talk about wings and ideology? Absolutely, but again, see, as we all say, these political parties sometimes what they do is instead of working on themselves, they try to criticize other parties, and this is how they think that they're gonna make impression in the eyes of the audience, the eyes of janta that they are competing for, right? That is a very bad idea. You know, some parties, I won't take the names, have been doing this in the past 5 6 years. They, instead of focusing on their inner strengths, they are focusing on, they're criticizing external I would say weaknesses, weaknesses of other political parties. That is not correct. Focus on yourself. So if you think that you have an ideology and you are really inclined towards it, speak about that, but do not at the same time criticize the other view, criticize the other ideology, because in the same audience that you are having the GD in, there might be people who would be like very much sentimental about, or even the panelists might be very sentimental about the other party, right? This is not something you can really do. Okay, so sound politically and morally correct. You cannot hurt one's sentiments to win others' hearts. Advanced level tip number two. You think you are feeling shy to speak, scared to be judged? The panel is not there to judge you but assess you. Remember, there's a difference. They're not judging you, they're assessing your personality, your views, and your way of speaking, your way of dealing with people around, right? So do not be scared about these things. It's just that they're going to know you for those 15 minutes, they're going to forget you. You're just another candidate for them. So whatever you have been in the past, sometimes people carry this burden of, say, average academic background, or probably you haven't read newspaper, you haven't been well aware of what is happening around, but the topic is of great strength, is of great interest to you. So that burden is carried in that interview, in that GD also. But I would say do not feel anything like that. If you feel shy, just understand that there's no one who's judging you. They're just trying to assess you. There's a difference. Judging is, I would say, more of a, in such cases, is more of a very extreme word, but assessing is a very moderate word. It's a very mellow thing that they are doing. If you're a candidate, they want to select you. They're not there to reject you either, right? You do something that they want, that they're looking for, you'll be absolutely given marks. If not, you'll be forgotten as a candidate. Do not take things personally at all, right? So panel is there to judge you. It's not there to judge you, but assess you. So give them something that they can assess you on, right? You might be a nerd. Otherwise, you might know a lot of things outside that GD room. But if you're not speaking in those 15 minutes, they won't ever get to know what kind of a person you have been, right? Advanced level tip number 3, use euphemism. Example, let's see which one sounds better. Party X in India is an extremist party centered around Hindutva ideology. It demeans other minorities in the country. I hate this party. For example, you made such an extreme statement, is statement number 1. Now, if you have such kind of a view, I would say even if you are such polarized kind of a person, you have such extreme views, I would say keep them outside the GD room and keep them outside the MBA classroom that you're getting into. Because if you have such extreme views, you're never going to succeed. Because you have to be politically correct. You have to be a little diplomatic about things. Right? Let's read statement number 2. Party X in India is a right-wing party that is much conservative with its ideology. And in my opinion, it ignores minority rights. I won't say it's a perfect statement to make again, but it's better than the first statement. You're using extreme words in the first statement like hate and then demeans other minorities because that is what you think, right? Even if it's happening, you cannot use such words in the discussion, right? Probably you know something that others don't know, and probably you don't know a lot of things that others know, right? So you may be countered, and you may be countered really bad, and your GD would be over, right? So use euphemism, be a little diplomatic with your words. Do not sound desperate, because they all are. Sound unique and do not lose your cool. Don't sound desperate to speak up. Do not sound desperate to try to make an impression in the eyes of the panelists. They'll understand they're doing this for past 10 years, for past 12 years, 15 years. They know who you are. They know what kind of a candidate you are and what you're trying to do, right? They all are desperate for that seat, right? Because getting into a coveted B school is not an easy job, right? The ratio of conversion is 1:10. After for every one seat, they're calling 10 people. They're calling 10 candidates, 9 to 10 candidates. That is what the norm of this government is. If the government college is taking in people for MBA and even for BTech, they have to call, or any other course, they have to call in the ratio 1:10. For every one seat, 10 people are called, right? So they all are desperate to get in. But you have to sound unique, and you do not have to lose your patience, lose your calm, and lose your cool. Just be who you are, right? And be positive with your approach. As I said, extreme right opinion aapka, extreme left opinion aapka. Do not get there. Be center left, center right. That's it. Okay. Do not be neutral either. Having an opinion is very good, and it's very necessary, very much required also in these interviews. You have to have an opinion of yourself, but not extreme ones. Advanced level tip number 5. You think you don't have any opinion about the topic, you're unaware about the topic, I would say do not lose hope. Sometimes it would happen. You're not well prepared, or probably you've missed out on that particular topic, right? Don't lose hope and do not rush. Of course, you cannot start the conversation, start the discussion anymore. What you can do is wait for others to speak, gather points, and make an opinion right there. Connected with what you know, right? There's a topic that you don't know much about, wait for others to speak. You'll then start connecting the dots within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 4 minutes. You'll start connecting the dots. You'll understand, oh, this is what they're talking about. Can I connect it with anything I know? Okay, that's what the connection I can make. I can pitch it. If not anything, I can make an analogy, right? ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है इस particular topic में. This is what I know from other industry or from some other topic that is not related to this topic, but I can make an analogy. Hey, I agree, for example. Hey, I agree with what you're saying. For example, this also happens in this industry, in this culture, in this country, or whatever you know about, right? You have to be a little smart and on the toes there. If you don't know about the topic, you have to be sharper to understand what is happening and what you can make out of it. Someone didn't get any opportunity, so this is what I did also in my Narsimhanji Mumbai interview. We were talking, we were having I would say, very loud group discussion. Out of that whole GD, there were 2 people selected. There were 12 people in that GD round. There were 2 people selected, me and there was one more guy. And I think what worked for me was something like this. So we all were speaking as soon, before the GD, we were given like 5 minutes to come and interact with each other, to get seated. And we all decided कि भाई कोई बीच में ना किसी को तंग नहीं करेगा. As in, we have to be like very civilized when it comes to just GD round. And they all were like, yes, of course, we have to sound civilized. We have to be, you have to make good impression. Let's be positive. आराम से GD करेंगे. और जैसी topic आया, they all started shouting. Right? I kept my calm. I pitched in for like 3 or 4 times, whole 15 minutes. And in the end, I realized that there was this one guy throughout the GD, throughout those 14 minutes of discussion, he was trying to speak, but was never given an opportunity because there were other loud people who were taking over, right? In a way कि वो बोलने नहीं दे रहे थे उसको. He wanted to speak, थोड़ा polite था बंदा. He wanted to speak, others would shut him up. Like, hey, I have something to say. The other would say, I have something to say. This guy was like, hey, I need to add something. Hey, this is what I want to do. This is how it should be, and things like that. So that guy couldn't, make an impression. And the 14 minutes, I realized that, I somehow understood that this guy has something to say, and why not give him an opportunity? So my voice is a little, I would say, assertive and a little loud too, but not in a very bad way is what I understand. So it was 14 minute and discussion अब खत्म हो चुकी है, right? 5-6 minutes में discussion खत्म हो चुकी है. Now what you are doing in the rest of 10 minutes is just, filling in the gaps. The main discussion points, the main points that you have to discuss are discussed in first 5-6 minutes. Everybody is done with the content. Now they're filling in points, doing some analogies, and comparing with other such examples, and saying that, okay, what if this could happen, what if that would happen, and things like that. पहले 5 मिनट के बाद कुछ नहीं होता, तो 14 मिनट हो गए. We don't have much to talk about. Now I patient. I was like, hey, I think that this guy wants to speak something. It's been a very long time. He's been wanting to speak. So why don't you? I don't remember his name. So hey, Mr. X, why don't you speak up? And everybody had to shut up because when I talked, I was a little loud and assertive too. So, but panelists, they looked up to me. They were like, oh, that I'm being very considerate. That's it. That's the kind of qualities or skills they're looking forward to. They're looking for in a candidate, and they really like that. And the way they looked at me and the way they put their head down and started marking me or something, I realized that has added a great value. And the two people selected. There was one more guy, of course, that guy who spoke for just 1 minute. The guy I made speak up didn't get selected. So there was me and there was one more guy who got selected. So these are the kind of qualities you have to respect. The fact that it's group discussion. कल को आप कॉलेज में जाओगे, आप startups में काम करोगे, companies में काम करोगे. To have this positive discussion is very very important for the growth of the company, for the team, for the company. उसमें अगर आप हमेशा बहस करते जाओगे, आर्ग्यूमेंट करते जाओगे, नहीं ये भी हो सकता है, वो भी हो सकता है. Okay, you have opinions, but respect others' opinions as well. Respect other people, other individuals too. Right? So this is the kind of qualities they're looking forward, they're looking for in a candidate. And that's it. We're done with some quick discussion on GD and its tips and techniques on how to crack it. We've discussed basic tips and advanced level tips. If you have any questions, I'll keep the session open for next 5 minutes. Please let me know. Moin Khan, 2 sounds perfect. Okay. In advanced level tip number 3. All right. Is there anything else, guys, you want to check with me? I'd love to help you out in any way possible. It was a half an hour session, so I had to wrap it up really quickly. We can have more discussions. Next session will be tomorrow at same time. People are watching this live. If you guys have any questions, Moin Khan is asking a question. So if you're not getting a chance to speak or complete the sentence, can we get up and raise the point? You cannot get up. No, that's rude. But you'll have to. No, you cannot stand up, Moin. I understand. You cannot stand up. See, that is what the whole point is, right? Group discussion mein, if you think that you're not getting a chance, एक candidate is taking over, second candidate is taking over, third is taking over, you're just not getting a chance, I would say you have to be a little louder, right? अगर आप politely बोल रहे हैं, this is, you're allowed to raise your voice. Raise your voice as in pitch आप अपनी बढ़ा सकते हैं so that people listen to you in a way that, okay, guys, I have something to say, please. Mr. X, Mr. Y, I understand your points, and just try to steer the conversation in that way. Be smart in that way. You cannot tell them to shut up. You cannot say that, okay, I've had enough of you. आप बहुत बोल चुके हैं मेरी बारी. No. You have to be very polite and very gentle in that manner. Mr. X, I've understood your point. Mr. Y, you're saying, you're adding your points, your views to Mr. X's points. Now this is what I have to say, and things like that. But you cannot stand up at all. The moment you stand up, you're out. That means that, while sitting, you're not trying hard to raise your point, to make others listen to you. That is, again, not a quality they're looking for. And never make eye contact with the panel, and we can ignore the man who's making foolish points. Is that rude? See, panelists, they themselves say that, consider that we are not here. If you're looking at them, that means, so try to understand, you are a panelist, और मैं जीडी दे रहा हूँ और मैं बार बार आपको देख रहा हूँ. इसका मतलब क्या है? That whatever I'm saying is to impress you, right? I'm not actually being a part of the GD, but मैं बार बार impression बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, which is again not a good idea to do. You're not here to make an impression per se. Of course, intrinsically you are, but explicitly you don't have to be very, I would say, you don't have to be very explicit about it. आप discussion करो. They're going to judge you on, they're going to assess you on what kind of a personality you are, what kind of skills you possess, or when you're talking to other people, when you're having a discussion. That is what they're looking forward to, right? Not that mere ko dekho and you're making an eye contact. That means, hey, whatever you're saying is just to impress me, right? कल को जब आप कंपनी में काम करोगे, कॉलेज में प्रोजेक्ट्स करोगे, there will be no one to impress. It's just that you have to be in such group discussions very soon. So just show them how will you act there, right? It's like a theatrical play. You cannot make an eye contact with the audience all the time. You have to perform. If you focus there at the audience, when will you perform? Ignore the man who's making foolish points. I would say, या तो ignore कर सकते हो, but I would personally try to counter that because वो मेरे I would say assessment में काम आएगा. If someone is making foolish points, I would say I don't think that is true. I don't think that's how it is. Can I just, or let me just correct, no, let me just correct you, but let me just add something that might contradict your views, because I really think that that is not what we're looking for. This is the way it shouldn't be, and things like that. So you have to be like very I would say euphemistic with your words and very polite and respectful towards that person. I would take that as an opportunity. Moin, अगर कोई foolish points बना रहा है group discussion में, that's an opportunity for me, because if not anything, the worst case I can do is I can correct him. In GD, will they give topic only based on current situation or else some general topic? It can be anything, Ram Ganesh. It can be an abstract topic. It can be a current affairs topic. It depends on the college you're appearing for. IIMs, they can ask you any abstract topic and any current affairs topic as well. But try to understand कि जो current affairs topic होगा will be more of a national interest. No, international interest के लिए I would say they might ask you about your opinions in personal interview, but they're more concerned about if you know about national affairs, national interests and all, India as a whole, as a country, what is happening in the country. And abstract topics, of course, can be anything. What else? Any other questions? Moin, Ram Ganesh, and others who are watching this live. Moin says, if someone quotes fake news and stick to it despite other points, is that a positive for him? No, of course not. See, the panelists, as I'm telling you, they're doing this for past 10, 12 years. They know what kind of mistakes you can do. Fake news, because of the advent of the media and technology these days, people are believing in a lot of fake news, but you don't have to believe in that. They're making it, let them do it. You think it's not correct, try to correct them once. Not correct them in a way कि भाई तू बिल्कुल गलत है. नहीं, respect it. कि भैया तू भी कहीं से सीख कर आया, probably दिमाग आपका थोड़ा भटका हुआ है, या you haven't learned it right, you haven't heard it right. Let me correct you. एक बारी correct करो, दो बारी correct करो, and that's it. Just take a step back and focus on your own points then. But as I said, अगर ऐसा कुछ audience है आपके पास, it's for me an opportunity. To correct them is also an opportunity. I can utilize my 30-40 seconds, to correct them and make an impression. Because one GD, a guy did that despite fact checking his statement. It's okay, let them do it. Doesn't matter. ठीक है, यहाँ पे ऐसा तो नहीं कि आप 100 करोड़ों की जनता को एड्रेस कर रहे हो, फेक न्यूज़ चली जाएगी तो भाई बहुत बड़ी बात हो जाएगी. 15 लोग बैठे हैं, 12 लोग बैठे हैं, 2 पैनलिस्ट बैठे हैं जिनको पता है क्या चल रहा है, क्या बोल रहे हो आप, अगर अच्छा बोल रहे हो, बुरा बोल रहे हो, सही बोल रहे हो, गलत बोल रहे हो, तो इट्स नॉट दैट आपको आपकी ड्यूटी है उसको करेक्ट करना. नो, इट्स नॉट अ ड्यूटी. Is it advisable to change our views in GD or stick firmly on our initial stand? No, absolutely. You can change Ram Ganesh, but don't change like drastically. You've taken a stand for something. I would say next time, thoda neutral jao, and third time, okay, you can have some contradictory views on that. It's absolutely fine. I think they respect that also. That after listening to other people, you also think that probably you can add some more points to your own thought process or your own views, and you have also changed, or not changed, but you have also learned or respected their opinions, and now you have a little different or a little unconventional view of your own now. So it's absolutely fine. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने कुछ गलत बोल दिया initially and you have to stick to it. No. Say that, this is what I had to say. For example, you made a statement और लोग contradictory बोल रहे हैं. I understand. You're absolutely right. Say something like, hey, Mr. X, I understand. It's absolutely right. What you're saying is on contradictory to what I'm saying, and respect that. It's a very good point. And try to make these points. Try to make these gestures. Mr. X, that's a very good point you made, right? Mr. Y, very good point you made, right? But this is what I had to say, and adding to your points, adding all these points together, this is what I make out of it, and carry the conversation from there. See, 12 जब लोग बोल रहे होंगे, panelists won't remember कि किसने कौन सा stand लिया था, right? So do not worry about that. Firdaus Gohar is asking, should we introduce ourselves in the beginning? No, Firdaus, don't do that. It's a waste of time, waste of 10 seconds. They don't want to know who you are, right? I mean, they don't want to know your name. आपका introduction properly PM round में होगा, person interview में होगा. Understand the agenda, understand the idea of conducting a GD. They want to know how you react to situations, how you deal with people in a discussion. Right? PI में personal interview, the name is personal interview. That is personally, now we want to know you. पहले group discussion, how do you act in a group? So don't introduce yourself unless explicitly asked for. और बोलते हैं आपको कि पहले आप अपना नाम बोलेंगे उसके बाद ये. Usually they give you a number. So they are writing points, your qualities, your skills, your negatives or whatever about you against that number. Okay, chaliye. With this, we come to the conclusion of the session. I hope you liked the session. We're going to connect again tomorrow at 12 p.m. And discuss some more things that are going to be useful for you in your upcoming GD and PI rounds. All right? Chaliye. Have a good day, guys, and good luck.